For most of us, it's the foundation of the modern dream. Go to school, get a good degree, and land a steady job with a nice salary. That's financial safety, right? That consistent paycheck, it feels like the ultimate security blanket in a pretty chaotic world. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if the very thing we count on for safety is actually our biggest financial risk? I know, it sounds completely backward, but that's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer.
All right, so let's dive right into what's called the great salary myth. We're going to tear down why that monthly paycheck can honestly be a trap, and, more importantly, figure out how you can start protecting yourself from it.
Okay, the first and maybe the most critical risk, it really just comes down to a simple shift in how you look at things. Let's try to reframe what a job actually is. See it as a business relationship. And that brings us to what we call the one customer problem.
Now, really think about this for a second. If you went out and started your own company and you landed one single client, just one, and they made up 100% of your income, any business advisor on the planet would tell you your company is incredibly fragile. I mean, one bad meeting, one change in their budget, and your entire business could just collapse.
Yeah, this concept actually has a formal name. It's called a single point of failure. It's a classic idea in engineering and in business. You never, ever want your entire system to depend on one single part. Because if that part fails, the whole thing just stops working. Period.
And that, right there, perfectly illustrates the situation for most employees. Your employer is your single customer. Your entire financial world depends on this one single relationship. It's funny, in the world of startups, we'd call this a super high-risk venture, but in the corporate world, we've been taught to call it security. So, here's the crucial point. If your one and only customer decides to stop doing business with you, and look, it's often for reasons that are completely out of your control, like a bad quarter or a corporate merger, your income doesn't just take a little dip. It drops to zero, instantly.
Okay, so besides being fragile, what's the second big risk? Well, a salary also puts what you could call an invisible upside cap on your earnings. It fundamentally limits how much you can make, no matter how much incredible value you create.
The disconnect here is just wild when you think about it. In any given month, you could work twice as hard, you could invent a new process that saves tons of time, or land a massive new deal for the company. The value you create can literally skyrocket, but your salary? Nah, that's fixed by a contract you probably signed months, maybe even years ago.
This just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You might come up with an idea that saves or makes the company $1 million, but your reward is almost never a piece of that million. More often than not, it's a pat on the back, maybe a great job email. Your actual effort is completely decoupled from your reward.
And that's the fundamental trade-off you're making. A salary means you are selling your most precious, non-renewable resource, your time, at a fixed price. And over the long run, with inflation chipping away at its value, you're pretty much just running in place.
Now, this brings us to the third risk of a safe job, and this one's a little more subtle: the career skill plateau. That comfort of a steady paycheck can, without you even realizing it, lead to your skills getting stale over time, which actually makes you less valuable on the open market.
Think about it. When you stay at one company for years, you become an expert. But an expert in what? A lot of the time, it's in that company's very specific internal stuff. Things like their own custom software, how to navigate the internal politics, or mastering their one-of-a-kind expense reporting system. And look, those skills are super valuable inside those four walls. But they aren't what we'd call marketable skills, like data analysis, graphic design, or a project management certification, things that are valuable to any employer.
So this completely redefines what security even means. True financial safety isn't about having one company that promises to pay you. It's about developing skills that are so valuable that lots of employers or customers would be lining up to pay you for them at any time. Real security is in your marketability, not your job title.
So, after hearing all that, should you just walk into your boss's office and quit tomorrow? No, absolutely not. The key isn't to reject the salary, but to completely change how you see it. We need to start looking at a salary as seed capital.
Look, your paycheck is a fantastic tool. It's actually one of the best you can have. It gives you predictable cash flow, which is an incredible strategic advantage. The goal here is to stop treating it as your life support system, just enough to cover the bills, and start using it strategically to build something way more resilient.
So what does this new mindset look like in practice? Well, first, you reframe your paycheck. It's not life support, it's your investment fund.
Then you use that capital to fund your own education in skills that are actually marketable. Maybe it's an online course in coding or a weekend certification. Next, you can use it to launch a little side project, creating a second income stream, your second customer. Could be something as simple as a small online store or some freelance writing. And finally, you use it to buy assets that generate income all by themselves, like investing in index funds. That is how you build real, lasting security.
So this all leaves us with one final and really crucial question. If you stop seeing your salary as just enough money to get by, and instead start seeing it as the seed capital for your future, what are you going to grow with it? A new skill? A business? A portfolio of assets? The choice and the opportunity is all yours.
If this made you think, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and comment what you want to learn next. Follow Mindset Millionaire for daily wealth lessons.